Greetings, friends. Today we meet at the last day of the 5 days period of the Sagittarius Solar Festival. Very special time. And today we start the new cycle, meditating with the topic that we will hold throughout the Sagittarius-Capricorn cycle. And therefore it relates to the theme of the cardinal clause, new leadership cleaning the house of religion and politics. The topic that was suggested and synthesized from sharing at our preparatory Quorum meeting is the true leadership is group leadership, low-level manifestation. And in this cycle, Tracy will lead us through our work. But before we start, as always, we bring our focus to the purpose of our work, which Birgit will voice for us.
Our purpose is to magnetize the ideas of common good, freedom, and brotherhood as the highest values of humanity at this time. We recognize and cherish diversity of perspectives in our group, creating a space capable of invoking, receiving, interpreting, and radiating a higher synthetic vision. We serve as an asramic outpost, building a group bridge of Buddhic energy. We evoke the soul of humanity. We envision humanity as being the seed that is flowering. We prepare the way for the reappearance of the coming one. And over to you, Tracy.
Thank you, Brigitte. And thank you, everybody, for being here today. We're going to start now just by reading the seed thoughts that we gathered from our first quarter moon meeting in this cycle of Sagittarius to Capricorn, which, as Alexander said, is where we create our topic for the cycle from. So these are the following 10 seed thoughts that came from that meeting. Number 1, the light of the soul. Number 2, group leadership and the unfolding plan. Number 3, we are mirrors of light of life, that supernal light. We are mirrors of the light of life, that supernal light. Focus on the needs of the future. All of our earth sings the song of the soul. I plunge myself into the pool of wisdom. Happiness. Let the group master the skill of deliberate transmission. Group life replaces personal life. And finally, through mastery, we transfigure light to new vision and new vision into manifestation. So as we come into our group work for this full moon, I'll begin with an alignment, and then we will go into the meditation. Let us begin to sense the warmth of our hearts as we link together. Holding our chalice up, we invoke the impressions and energies which will guide and support the common good of humanity and our planet at this time. Our intention is to be of service, assisting human and planetary life and activity as we focus together as a group in preparation to receive higher thoughts, impressions, and energies that will later be distributed at the time of the new moon. So let's begin now by aligning to our heart. Our ajna and our soul. From here, we align with the group heart, the group ajna, the group soul, and the group antakarana. Let's now connect with hierarchy and all the unseen beings and souls who aid our invocation and evocation efforts on behalf of our service to humanity and all planetary life. Let's lead our minds and our group mind into quiet receptivity to hierarchical energies, ideas, and impressions that are especially available to us during the full moon tide at this time. As we work across this month, from the full moon in Cancer to the new moon in Capricorn, we become receptive to and aware of the energies available that will assist with this work. Capricorn, the taskmaster, whose will and power can synthesize the personality and then destroy it without hesitation when its use is done. This hard and difficult process of crisis through initiation yields the reward of opening the gate to the third initiation, that of the transfiguration, which grants the initiated the ability to form a perfect link between the heavens and earth, the inner world of meaning, and the subtle world of glamour. This honor reverberates moral and spiritual growth and allows the soul to act through the perfected personality. And the one-pointed disciple now manifests the link between these two worlds. Christ-conscious manifestation is a signpost of spiritual maturity through the outward act of altruism. From potentiated individual mastery to spiritual soul life, we gather today and stand in full group service in right spiritual being. As the sunflower is stimulated and responds to the rays of the sun, we as a group are stimulated and respond to the telepathic sensitivity of other world servers, as well as the many ashrams of the masters. We recognize a universal power and the state of mind that we share with disciples of all degrees. Intuition becomes a function of the mind, and when rightly used, enables us to grasp reality with clarity and see it free from glamour, as it enables correct and direct action from the divine universal mind, which brings about the unfoldment and world recognition of the divine plan. As the plan is sensed, there comes the realization of the unity of all beings, of the synthesis of world evolution, and of the unity of the divine objective. When the plan is truly intuited, constructive effort becomes inevitable, and there is no lost motion, as it follows the great law of economy. Group resonance, in turn, attracts the David kingdom and nature spirits, who respond by matching these vibrations and frequencies, fabricating a new reality on the lower planes. It is in this atmosphere that we now reconnect with our topic for this cycle. True leadership is group leadership, which is soul level manifestation. True leadership is group leadership, soul level manifestation. As we deepen our contemplation on our topic, let us pause it and ponder the following questions. To help humanity rise up to meet the vibration and frequency of higher spiritual resonance, what can we do to prepare ourselves, as well as our group, to amplify the quality of our reverberation or resonance? To help humanity rise up to meet the vibration and frequency of higher spiritual resonance, what can we do to prepare ourselves, as well as our group, to amplify the quality of our reverberation or resonance? Once we have come into resonance together as a group, how can we maintain or hold our balance and equilibrium together to better intuit the divine plan? Once we have come into resonance together as a group, how can we maintain or hold our balance and equilibrium together to better intuit the divine plan? And our third question: what can we do to assess and adjust our group's spiritual progress to potentiate, support, and maintain the manifestation of on earth as it is in heaven? What can we do to assess and adjust our group's spiritual progress in order to potentiate, support, and maintain the manifestation of on earth as it is in heaven? Let us now return from the depths of our pondering. We draw together the impressions from our contemplation, allowing them to take form. They may come to us as words, pictures, symbols, sound, or even colors. Drawing our impressions together, we now rest in silence for a few more moments. We see our impressions flowing together into the group heart, filling our chalice and vitalizing it with radiant light, enhancing its beauty and wisdom of all its tone. Together we direct this light upward to hierarchy and await their blessing upon it. And now realizing our invocation today, we witness its radiance pouring downward from our chalice into the lower planes, stimulating all receptive hearts and minds. And we ground our work and the energies we have invoked today by sounding the great invocation. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into human minds. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into human hearts. May Christ return to earth. From the center, where the will of God is known, let purpose guide all little human wills, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center, which we call humanity, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. As we close our work today, let us identify with the soul in all and apply our efforts to be in accordance with the divine will. We send forth the results of our efforts, thoughts, love, and the energy of our group's work to help humanity and our earth in all its diversity and ultimate unity through its transformational journey into the sacred. We do this through focused direction of energy from our group ajna, sending the light out to higher beings, to other spiritual groups, to the soul of humanity, and to all sentient beings as we assist the forces of light. Om. Om. Om.
Let us hold a few more moments in silence to write down our impressions before we open our time sharing. Also, the community impressions board is now available in the chat window. You can click, and also you can always find on the homepage of the 2025 initiative.org. We extend an open invitation to continue sharing impressions throughout the next 2 weeks as we prepare for the vacation at the time of the new moon. When we're ready, we can start sharing, holding group space open for continuous flow of impressions.
I can start to share. So when those 10 seed thoughts were read that were brought forth by the group the last time that we met, it really came through as such a high and pure note. And I need to thank you, Tracy, for these questions, because that note comes through in the questions that are asked and holds that high space. At an important space as we're going to enter the solstice together. So I just wanted to preface my statement by those thoughts. So I looked at each one of these questions and I could really own them all in terms of where I am, what I'm doing, but not me as a person, but me as a group soul, myself as part of a greater whole. So when I looked at the first question, how do we raise the frequency of resonance as we prepare ourselves. When I thought of humanity, the only way to raise humanity is to raise our own frequency. And by doing that, in some ways, everything follows. We are learning to both be magnetic and radiatory at the same time. And that it seems like opposing forces, but it's just the opposite. To be able to stand in a place where we can bring through energy that is beyond our capacity as individuals, but within our capacity as a group by being magnetic to that, and then standing in a place where we can be radiatory to bring that through to humanity, to me is the way to do that. I've been thinking about seed groups, and I used to think that for the most part, we stood as trained observers. But now I understand that as a whole, I believe we're moving to telepathic communicators. That is an important seed group that is blossoming at this time. And so to be able to stand in the energy of that seed group as group, I think supports us both in giving us direction of how to move forth the impressions that we receive, both from each other and from hierarchy, and to work from the center of the even arm cross. I find that an important center to stand in, because as you pull down through the vertical axis, you are also expanding out to everyone that you touch in terms of all the groups we are on the horizontal axis, so that you don't bring energy down for yourself, but you bring it down for the wholeness of the field and the wholeness of the group that you stand in. And that in turn becomes magnetic in itself. I was thinking about the three crosses for where we stand, right? The triangle of crosses where we stand, which is Sagittarius, Gemini, and Pisces. That's the triangle we're standing in currently. And they combine all three crosses, the mutable cross for Gemini, the fixed cross for Sagittarius, and Pisces is the cardinal cross. And if you can stand in that energy and combine it and stand in the center of the even arm cross, I think we raise our vibration. The second question, are we able to maintain an equilibrium? I think it's through an established rhythm. This group is an established rhythm. The other groups that I participate in, the vigil, the intergroup in terms of connecting at the full moons, at the equinoxes and solstices. By having a rhythm, I think we're able to maintain and hold our balance together as a group. And the third one is interesting because when I think of where we are now, I see in many ways the forerunners ending and a new iteration beginning. And I think it's important for groups to look at themselves in terms of cycles. And the group that I'm with, the United Nations Meditation Group, we are gathering together as a full group to look at where we stand now. What have we been able to do as a group? What energies have we touched? What relationships have we established? What ways do we work? And then looking at the next cycles, what do we hope to achieve in the next cycle? So I think as groups, it's important to assess where we are when the cycles present themselves for ones to do that. And I think if you stay connected with the impulse, you know those cycles, because it's important to take stock so that everyone stands on the same page together. So I hope this is not too complete an answer, but these questions certainly have prompted that from myself. So thank you very much.
I want to echo Judy in thanking Tracy. Your entire meditation today was beautiful, and it took us all deeply into these very important questions, and yet questions that for me were hard to answer. And yet there's some synchronicity that I felt with some of the things that Judy said. And if, for example, but for me in that first question, it was really sort of acknowledging our commitment to be regular, rhythmic in all of the groups that we all are a part of, that it is in that regularity and rhythm and commitment that I know that we draw the attention of the Deva. It is sounding forth a note that brings her and their attention to our purpose and to what we are endeavoring to bring to all of the one life. And then in the second question, for me, it is about the energy of optimism. It is really standing in the center of that evened arm cross, but standing on top of the director's stool and really finding ourselves there in our thoughts, in our words, in our actions. And mostly for me, it's about thoughts because it's so easy to hide those. But to really stand there and not be impacted by the illusions and the glamour that flood all of us in every moment of every day with the way technology works and the way the media works. And it's a hard place to stand, but to be on that director's stool with an energy of optimism that it isn't necessarily what it looks like. And when Judy mentioned that we are now groups of communicators, again, through all the questions, there was just this constant impression, which we all know and we all do, but I find myself doing it more and more and more. I wake up in the morning, I open my eyes, it's the first thing I do. I say the Great Invocation. And I think we need to say the Great Invocation. We need to teach the Great Invocation. We need to make it almost a breath-like mantra. We have been told how important it is and how powerful it is. And it's my first words of the day and my last words at night. And throughout the day, I find myself saying it, singing it with Michael Robbins' beautiful orchestral rendition. But I think that's also in a very sort of magical and unknown, but very trusting way of maintaining that resonance. That resonance, when I think of resonance, I think of music, I think of poetry, I think of ways that have that rhythmic flow of energy. And I think that's a very important part of our job.
Hi, this is Kathy in Hawaii. Tracy, that was so pristine and so powerful and yet spacious and yet with clear direction, uh, clear support for direction. So thank you. And certainly your comments, Judy and Andre, are just so perfect pitch. So to the first questions, and I already started the word perfect pitch. I believe that there is and I sometimes experience a clarity and a purity of pitch in my alignment with spirit, and the alignment of my four etheric bodies, spirit, mental, emotional, physical, but beyond that, to the ashram. And when that alignment is right, is perfect, it is just it just becomes huge. There's a like an explosion of light or of resonance for me. So I think that the first question is to be always questioning and trying in whatever way that your intuition works till you get finer and finer in that alignment, and it gets more and more pure and has less resistance and less gaps in it. Then that's going to increase the reverberation and the resonance. Following that, number two, the willingness to somehow be in the absolute immortal ancientness of our spirits that I believe have been in and out of form since the beginning of everything, as an expression of the will to manifest love. There's a way to allow kind of oneself to become sort of a weight or a gravity well of stillness. And stillness seems to be, going for that still point and being in it and getting more and more comfortable in it. Every time I really can enter that, there's something that is expanding in me. And I'm intending that it has that magnetic weight, which also could be a resonance, the way a magnet in a iron ore can become a magnet, but it also puts out, the waves of magnetism and frequency. It's not a one way, flow of energy. It never is. There is that natural balance. So with I think the rhythmic meeting and the rhythmic intentionality, sinking into that deep becoming, being willing to be a gravity well of resonance and equilibrium. Everything goes better in my life when I'm deeper in that, while still being present and walking amongst the people. Assessing and adjusting. It's always about telling the truth, about not being attached to a certain vision of accomplishment that somehow is being maintained, but allowing instead ourselves, and number three, to enjoy the surprise of assessment, and that surprise, that recognition of goodness, or the situation, or the combining that seems to be going on, or the reflection between earth and heaven, that allows an authentic genuineness and a passion that is somehow lost when things get too rote. when they get too stylized, when they get too habitual. So always intending and hoping for opening, for surprise, for delight, for joy, for the unexpected within the highest frequencies of unconditional love and love wisdom. Thank you.
Again, I want to thank Tracy so much for that wonderful talk, meditation you gave, and everyone's remarks of, I wish I could remember everything you've all said. They were wonderful. I was thinking of lots of things, the optimism that you mentioned, be by the number one. I mean, how do we rise up to meet the vibration is to raise our vibration, and we raise it by optimism and kindness and graciousness, which brings joy and fun and seeing the beauty amidst the horrors and the chaos. But we have to hold steady in the work and with patience, determination, strength of heart, and being quiet and listening so we can have that acceptance. And that's sort of it. Thank you.
I would like to also express my gratitude for this beautiful working session and the inspiration of the alignment and the vision of the questions. And in perfect agreement with everything that everyone has said. I tend to want to boil things down and also make images. So I did that. I threw those on the impression board. In answer to the first question, how do we rise up and amplify our energy? I both posted an image of alignment, which actually came to me about a week ago, that I've continued to be holding in my consciousness about alignment. And my answer to that question is to stay in constant invocative and evocative alignment with hierarchy and all servers. We can amplify our energy potential. And that is, so much of what everyone else has already said. And to the second question, how do we come into resonance and stay in equilibrium? I expressed with mutual vision and open hearts, we come and stay in resonance and equilibrium and service together. And in answer to 3, what can we do to assess and adjust how we manifest heaven on earth? I guess an overarching thought I had is that I don't think it's up to us to assess. I think that's something for the masters to do. We can only just do our part. But my answer to that question is with hope and joy, again, mirroring what others have said. With hope and joy, we can remain open to inspiration and intuition wherever, however, whenever it calls us, I'm going to say each of us, to direct us as we bring down heaven to earth, knowing that we are each a part of the one. Thank you.
Actually, may I say one more thing? Kathy's gravity well of stillness was quite evocative. The strength of that, something that pulls you so dramatically, is potent, really potent, which then brought me to the great invocation, which is really about love. And that exactly, we need to say it all day long. And it tells us what to do. And it's about love. And it's important that that was the last one given, and it's about love. That's what we need to do now, spread love. And with that gravity well, so instead of the gravity well, the gravity pulling us up, in fact, is pulling us up to that. Thanks.
Thank you, Kiki. I just adjusted a couple of my answers in response to that. We can amplify our love energy potential and calls each of us to direct our love. Because you're right, all of it is related to the directing of love energy. Thank you.
Thank you, friends. Indeed, very special meditation, and the questions are very appropriate for this time as we preparing to enter the 2025. And it's feels that this question lead us to the gist of the topic, the true leadership, the soul leadership, of how not just our group and not just esoteric groups, but any groups that work for the good of humanity, for common good, can come into maturity of its efficiency doing its work. And thank you, Tracy, and thank you, friends. Let us hold these questions and this topic for the next 2 weeks. And the coming quarter moon meeting will be on December 22nd, when we will have a chance to continue our reflection and sharing. And then the new moon meeting meditation on December 30th, when we will offer our seats, the group chalice, to be magnetized and radiated through our focused group meditation. And to close the meeting, I invite anyone who would like to sound a mantra of your choice to close our work today.
I will read the mantra of unification, if you would like. The souls of all are one, and we are all them. We seek to love. We seek to serve. We seek to heal. Let pain bring due reward of light and love. Let the soul control the outer form and life and all events. And bring to light the love that underlies the happenings of the time. Let vision come and insight. Let the future stand revealed. Let inner union demonstrate and outer cleavages be gone. Let love prevail. Let all people love.